Hey guys, so last week I was talking about the Godox V1S speed light, and today I want to talk about something kind of an accessory to go with it, and that is the Xpro S trigger, also from Godox. We actually have two of these, and yeah, I wasn't too sure at first because they are really cheap, they are kind of plasticky, but I've been using these for about 18 months now, the AD200s and now with the V1S, and I've got to say I'm pretty impressed. There are some negatives to them, but yeah, honestly, if you're looking for a trigger for the Godox flash system, you've got a couple of options. You've got the XT1 and you've got the X Pro. Now the XT1 is like the bigger kind of pocket wizard style things, and it's got an extra hot shoe on the top, so you can use it as a pass through to other accessories. This is just a trigger. Yeah, big screen in the middle, nice amount of physical buttons. You've got the mirrored controls from the speed light there, so everything's in the same place, and then you have 5 channel buttons down the side. Now you can control 5 independent groups of Godox flashes. With this I only tend to use 3 at most because we've only got 3 lights at the moment, but generally I use it in 2. Like I'll group 2 lights together on channel A, and I'll use the other one on channel B, so I can independently control the power levels from the camera position, which is invaluable. The first time we started using that approach with the Canon system, it kind of changed the way we work because it's made everything 10 times faster. It made things so kind of much easier working with couples at weddings and on pre-wedding shoots, because we wouldn't have to say, sorry guys, 1 second, and run round, change the power, come back, do it again, do the same, come back again. We can just kind of make adjustments on the fly, and we can get things done in a much more natural way, where especially when we're backlighting and there's 2 of us kind of working together, we don't have to say up a bit, down a bit, up a bit, down a bit. We can just kind of control it from the camera ourselves when we're doing these kind of off-camera flash shots, which can kind of create a really great atmosphere. But if you're breaking the atmosphere and the connection by kind of turning it into a photo shoot rather than trying to capture natural moments, it does become a little bit of a problem. So having a trigger to be able to control the power from the camera position is amazing. And I know that's kind of a pedestrian thing now, and it is something that we take for granted nowadays, but it is something that is really, really valuable, because I remember the days of where radio frequency transmitters didn't even exist and we're working on infrared. I remember working on cables, and we'd trail flash cables like 20 feet out to an off-camera flash position, like on a hot shoe cord. There was no communication with anything. It was, yeah, it was interesting. So to be able to have this radio frequency transmitter is absolutely phenomenal. Now, one of the things that I always hated about the Canon system and the what was it called, the STE3, was the range was absolutely terrible. And especially, and this is really specific, if you were shooting over some water, there was no signal whatsoever. Like, there were about 8 or 9 instances where I'd set up a shot and I'd be here, there'd be like a bit of a lake or a pond or something, and the couple were on the other side and the lights were on the other side, and I was trying to control it and it just wouldn't do it. I was just out of range. If I moved kind of 10 feet out and really let my arm out, I could get connection with the flashes, but they were always just out of reach of where I wanted to compose a shot. And that to me was just an absolute pain, because it meant I had to just abandon a shot because I couldn't trigger it because the equipment let me down. With these, honestly, I don't know what kind of wireless tech they've got in these, but they are absolutely phenomenal. It must be on the receiver end, the lights, and the transmitter end, but they are rock solid. I've fired these from a couple of 100 meters away and not just got like one fire out of it, as in I've shot like 20 shots and not had a single misfire at that range with a long lens, if I've kind of gone for a shot which needs some compression in it. And that's absolutely remarkable. And that's in all modes as well. That's in like TTL, in manual where I normally shoot, and in like second curtain shutter stuff as well. So yeah, absolutely brilliant. And that's controlling multiple groups at the same time as well. So yeah, let's get down to the bad things. Like, this is a cheap plastic thing. Like, it's entirely plastic. It doesn't feel great in your hands. It does not feel like an Elechrome trigger. It does not feel like anywhere near like a Profoto trigger. It doesn't feel as good as a Canon trigger. The plastics are kind of cheap and thin, and it feels this is going to sound really weird, but it sounds a bit like a Kinder Egg. Like, it's really, really, like, you know, it's like really thin plastic. And it's, yeah, the battery compartment isn't particularly sealed well, and this lid is only held on with friction, and it does tend to fall off sometimes, so I normally put a piece of tape around the back. There is a modelling light, not modelling light, the infrared beam on-off on this side, and it does not work with Sony cameras. This is a Sony specific model. I would have thought they'd take the switch off because it's really annoying, because I spent ages thinking it was broken or I hadn't got a setting right at first. But it just doesn't work with Sony, so that's quite frustrating. And the on-off switch has no lock on it, and it's on the side, and it's a really short travel. So it's so easy to turn it on by accident or turn it off by accident. Both when you're shooting Sony is not a good thing. My last frustration with it is the battery situation. If you use rechargeable batteries, which I always do because I don't like polluting the environment with used kind of nickel cadmium batteries, then the battery indicator cannot be trusted at all. It only ever, these are brand new fresh Eneloops, and you probably won't be able to see this, but the battery says it's like on 10%. And it's really frustrating to not know what your battery life is like, because you think, did I forget to put the batteries on charge? Like, what's going on? I really wish that I'd put a lithium battery in here with USB-C connector that you can just, because there is a USB-C connector on it. Yeah, it's in the side there. And if they just used that so you could charge an internal lithium battery with it and had accurate battery, like, that'd be the solution. That'd just be epic. Like, there's enough room in there to get a really decent sized, I mean, a lithium battery in a transmitter that size, you could probably run it for a year on that, like, no problem. So another thing that I don't quite like about it is on the V1 it's got the proper kind of twist and click. Hear the click there, and I really like that because you know it's locked on. With this, you just screw it on and that's it, and it's just a friction lock, and it does work its way loose sometimes, and you have to kind of undo it, take it off, put it back in, screw it back on again. So yeah, not my favourite. However, I do think the reliability and the range for me and the ease of use, just being able to use these physical buttons to select my channel and then scroll my power, that's usually just how I use it most of the time. Set it in manual, select my channel, scroll my power, select the channel, scroll the power, press enter, done. To me, that kind of trumps everything and all the little problems. I can live with them, they're not ideal. I do sincerely hope that Godox come out with a version 2 of this trigger that addresses all those problems, and it would be a very easy thing to do, and they could still keep it around the same price, I reckon, kind of, even if it's a little bit more with a lithium battery. You know, if I'd pay £80 for the perfect version of this trigger that's a little more sturdily built, that has the locking mechanism there, the Sony version that has the infrared transmitter taken off, a lithium battery, and just better made overall, I think would be absolutely phenomenal. But having used these for 18 months, they are a little bit bruised and battered. They've got marks, the screens are scratched to bits, but they do work absolutely reliably. I don't have any complaints in terms of the operability of them, and they never miss a shot. Like, I can shoot like 5 frames in a row and they will all be correctly exposed, they were all fired. You know, with Canon I used to get like 2 out of 5 if I was lucky, and then one of them would be out of focus, so I've shot 5 frames, I've got 1, and it was usually a bad expression, so then you go again. Whereas with this, you shoot like a fifth as much, because in any given situation, with Sony you know it's going to be in focus, and with the Godox system you know the flash is going to fire, and consistently, and be the right colour temperature that you expected it to be. And for me, that is worth anything in a live situation where you've got these unrepeatable moments. So yeah, that is why, despite its faults, I would really recommend the Xpro S. So you can get one for about £60. If you've got the Godox system and you're looking for a trigger, if you're looking to start doing some off-camera flash stuff, just get one. You haven't got much to lose. You can probably get one used for very little money, and yeah, I'd say it's a really kind of worthwhile start. I've been a professional photographer for 7-8 years now, and honestly, although I want for more, I couldn't realistically ask it for the price. So yeah, well done Godox on a great product. I really hope you continue to develop this line in the future, because it could be absolutely world class. And that's about it. So no, thank you so much for watching, guys. I've got some more reviews coming up for photography and for filmmaking. I really appreciate it when you subscribe and turn on my notifications so you can see when my new videos come out. And otherwise, I'll see you next time.